Klingons do not pursue relationships. They conquer that which they desire. However, Lieutenant Tesora serves under my command. If she were mistreated, I would be very displeased, sir.
I understand. Captain, I am seeking advice in how to...
Yes, I've heard, Data. And I would be delighted to offer any advice I can on understanding women. When I have some, I'll let you know.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Deep Space Pride, a gay Star Trek podcast. My name is Mike. I am one of your co-hosts, and with me is Johnson, my co-host. How are you, Johnson?
Hey, Mike. I'm doing okay. How are you doing? Happy
I'm
Wednesday.
good today. Yeah, hump day. We are over halfway through the week.
Mm-hmm.
And
here we are. And tomorrow's Thursday. And
tomorrow is Thursday. That is right. Tomorrow is Paramount Plus Day. If you...
Oh, God. That's right.
Everything switches over from CBS All Access to Paramount Plus.
Wait, does my CBS All Access login still work, or do I need a new login for Paramount Plus?
You use the same login.
Okay.
But depending on the device, you may need to download a new app. So
okay. All right. That's
so
fine.
There we go. But
Okay.
they've been heavily pushing that on Instagram.
Oh my God. That's constant.
Yeah, it is. But tomorrow is the big day. And yeah,
I forgot. Even though I saw all the ads,
yeah,
including the Super Bowl ad, which we saw together.
They have really been pushing this branding piece hardcore.
Yeah, we'll see how it does, but yeah.
Well, given it's CBS, they're not known for their smoothness. So I will reserve judgment until I'm able to log into it tomorrow.
Hopefully you can log in at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
well, we don't have any new live Trek to really watch.
Are there any other CBS All Access shows, really? I mean, I watched one episode of The Stand, and I was not really into it. So.
What about, have you watched Clarice yet? I have not.
But... Oh, shit. I totally forgot about Clarice.
Yeah, so that's Clarice. On that. That's on
right.
there.
Alice Kurtzman. Mm-hmm.
And it'll also be interesting to see kind of what movies, especially what Star Trek movies, make it over to Paramount Plus.
Yes.
Because I don't think it's going to be all of them. So due to licensing or whatever, like I think some of the other streaming services have the rights for a little bit longer. But I don't know. We'll wait and see tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Yeah. But so that's going on. What else is going on in your neck of the woods? Anything exciting? How's your week been?
Exciting. I mean, work's been good. It's been busy, but I feel this week has been good so far.
Sounds like it's been reasonable.
Yeah. No, last week was also good. I mean, it's just been I'm getting used to the pace of it. Even though it's still a lot of Zoom meetings, but I feel I'm just kind of getting more used to it now. So
I've not got any coffin emojis this week, I don't believe.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm using coffin emojis at work, and people are picking it up, and they're using it. So
yes, you become a culture influencer.
Yes. People have started to use it. People were like, at first they were like, "Why are you using a coffin?" And then I was like, "It just makes sense." And then they start using it now, so it's great.
Has that expanded to the RIP, like the tombstone that was recently added?
So we use Zoom chat. So it's basically the same as Slack, but we use Zoom chat at work. and the emoji keyboard on Zoom chat doesn't have the tombstone. I don't know
Okay.
why. And I tried using like my phone because I have the same Zoom account on my phone, but it doesn't show up properly.
Okay.
Which is, you know, a
Is Zoom
disappointment.
chat a whole separate app?
Same. If you go to Zoom, actually, I think, yeah, well, we can chat in this video conference that we're in right now.
Right. But I've never.
If you open your Zoom app, you're able to also chat.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Something new every day.
There we go. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that my days have been good. I'm getting used to the pace. It's my 3rd month. I'm getting there. And I'm finding time to like relax after work, watch TV. I watched that new show I talked about last week, Debris.
Oh, how was it?
It wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't like amazing, but I liked it and I feel there's potential. So
was it just a pilot episode essentially?
It was just the pilot. Yeah.
Okay. So
I watched it on Peacock, but then a friend of mine was like, it was also on Hulu. I was like, shit, why did I watch it on Peacock?
Oh, well, lucky you. I guess I will have to pick it up on Peacock. I don't have Hulu.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's also, yes, it's on both. So
I already have too many streaming services. I can't keep track. I feel like I'm not using, like, I feel like I'm paying for 1 or 2 more than I actually use.
I'm using Disney Plus just to watch WandaVision. There's nothing else I watch on Disney Plus. Peacock, I definitely don't open. I mean, last time we talked was the first time I opened it in like 11 months. And I probably use Netflix and Amazon Prime the most, I guess, right now. So
yeah.
There are a lot though.
Have you started watching For All Mankind yet?
Yes.
Okay, I have not.
Remember, I showed you the photo. I was like, "Is that Koshi Sato?"
Right. Yes. Like, you saw an Asian.
I was like, "It looks like Linda
woman.
Park." I was like, "It looks like Linda Park, but it could just be another Asian girl." I don't know.
It was not. It was after understanding what you were asking me to look at. That did not look that much like Linda Park.
I was like, it kind of looks like her. But then I was like, upon closer scrutiny, I was like, I'm not sure anymore.
No, I don't think so.
Just like looks like another Asian girl. My bad.
Yeah, I have not started For All Mankind yet, and I am.
The first episode of season 2, it starts out a little bit slow, but then it escalates quickly.
So okay, all right, that's good. I need some action to keep me entertained.
But it's more, it's about the human drama.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Show, though.
Yeah. All right.
What about your week? How's it been
Well, this week I've been doing a cleanse. So it has been a challenging week, to say the least. And mainly,
diarrhea.
I mean, yes, there is that involved, but
unfortunately,
I mean,
it's too bad.
I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, you are cleaning out your gut and whatnot. So that is part of the process, but it's not even that bothers me. It is actually just my focus, my ability to focus and just how I'm feeling from hour to hour varies so wildly right now. And it's been really tough to navigate. Like I'm really having a challenging time. So I don't know if that means it's working and it's cleaning out all these toxins, or if it's not. I don't know.
Like, you're having like mood swings? What's happening?
Not mood. No, I wouldn't say as I'm moody. No, definitely not. But I'm just having difficulty maintaining my attention. Maybe I feel a little bit more anxious, or like,
interesting.
Yeah, it's just been not incredibly anxious or anything like that. Just and my ability to focus and like do the work has been challenging. It's been and I'm
sure it has something to do with their sugar level.
Yeah, so I have completely cut out raw sugar. I have completely cut out milk, although I've been using some butter. I usually have a piece of toast in the morning, so that's my gluten. So I have been I haven't seen any weight loss really. So it's really weird. So I don't know. I'm hoping that, granted, I'm 2/3 of the way through. I still have 2 more days. And then yeah, I just don't know. So as you can see, I'm not really, my ability to maintain a conversation or even say coherent things sometimes is challenging. So
I think you're okay. It's not. I honestly, if you didn't tell me that your attention span was debilitated, I wouldn't have really have noticed. So
well, and preparing for this week's episode, I obviously watched my episodes a couple of times, or I watched it
couple of
once.
times.
I
Okay.
watched it once, and then now I just went back before we got online and watched some specific scenes again. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm hoping I can maintain a coherent conversation in my
Okay.
thoughts about this. But
Well, you wrote an outline and everything for our conversation, so that should help.
yeah, I did. Yeah, and now seems an appropriate time, since you bring that up, to share with our viewers what we are doing.
Yes. What are we going to talk about today, Mike?
Well, so it's Women's History Month, and
Is
it is.
Yes. It is.
And so this month we are going to focus on the women of Trek. And
Women of Trek.
And so this week we've each picked a leading woman character and a supporting woman character to talk about. And how we're going to do that is we've picked an episode that highlights said character.
From the Next Generation, specifically.
Specifically, yes. This week we're talking about the Next Generation. You are correct. So, and we're just going to go back and forth, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of banter about our thoughts on.
We have no opinions. I don't know what you're talking about.
Lulz. But yeah, so that's the plan, and we're going to see how this goes. So yeah, why don't we get right into it and start Women's History Month with Johnson's first pick. Who is your leading Next Generation lady?
You just can't admit that it was my research that made this possible. I am delighted that Worf is going to recover. You gambled, he won. Not all of your patients are so lucky. You scare me, Doctor. You risk your patients' lives and justify it in the name of research. Genuine research takes time. Sometimes a lifetime of painstaking, detailed work in order to get any results. Not for you. You take shortcuts. Right through living tissue. You put your research ahead of your patients' lives. And as far as I'm concerned, that's a violation of our most sacred trust. I'm sure your work will be hailed as a stunning breakthrough. Enjoy your laurels, Doctor. I'm not sure I could.
Yeah. So, when you posed this question, I thought it was really interesting because, spoiler alert, neither of us chose Deanna. I don't know. No, that's kind of a spoiler alert. And I was like, I hope our listeners don't revolt because, the way that you positioned it, we basically each only get to pick one leading character and one supporting. And I was like, I hope they forgive us. It's fine. So,
I mean, we do love Deanna.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, we drop by her office every other week. So, it's not
exactly.
It's not like we don't like Deanna. I think that what we did as part of this exercise was try to identify one leading female from the Next Generation that we resonated with. So it's really in that respect that we decided to structure this conversation. So anyway, my leading lady of the Next Generation is Dr. Crusher. So the reason why I chose Dr. Crusher, and I would love to hear your thoughts about Dr. Crusher. And I was thinking about this as I was preparing for this podcast, but it's interesting because the leading women of the Next Generation kind of serve certain archetypes. I didn't really, it wasn't until I was preparing for this, I thought about this. I was like, because you have Dr. Crusher, who is the scientist. She's the career-driven scientist, really smart, really analytical. Then you have Deanna, who is the counselor, the feeler, the motherly figure of the ship. Obviously, Dr. Crusher is also a mother, but Deanna is kind of like the one that everyone goes to talk about their feelings. And then you have Tasha Yar, who is the woman of action, And I think that it kind of, the thing about The Next Generation, and we've talked about this before, it's not the most layered, multi-dimensional, complex Star Trek show, which is fine. But the reason why I chose Dr. Crusher is because I think that she was one of the, especially during my nascent developmental stages when I was trying to identify what I was interested in, what I wanted to study, things like that. I just really, I don't know why, but I've always been kind of more analytical. I've been numbers oriented. I am into the sciences, things like that. But I do have to say that Dr. Crusher as a character really resonated with me. And she actually, I think was one of the inspirations for me in my interest in biology when I was in high school and college. So obviously TNG came out before I went to high school. But I always appreciate her character. I like the way that she problem solved. When there was some sort of outbreak on the ship or something like that, she was always there to kind of figure it out. And I don't know, something about her character really resonated with me. And I think maybe more so the her character specialty than necessarily her as a character really did it for me. Because I don't, unfortunately, I don't think Dr. Crusher is the most interesting character. She has her moments, but it's not, first of all, she didn't really get, maybe one episode of the season. She was basically like Neelix, like one episode of the season, and she had her moments. Jack Crusher was hot. She had that, and she was Wesley's mom. I mean, Wesley got, I think more to do than Beverly Crusher did. But yeah, something about her character just really resonated with me. But I don't know if you had high level thoughts about Dr. Crusher. I mean, I could talk about the episode, which we watched, which you watched and I selected.
Yeah, let me just give you a few thoughts on her, and then we'll talk about the episode you selected. I think when we first meet her in the pilot episode, essentially,
she's picking fabrics.
She's picking fabrics, but she's a single mom. She's a single mom. There's reference to Jack, who had died, and then there's some connection between him and Picard, and all that history comes on. So that's really the first we learn, is that she signed on to this ship knowing that she was going to have to face Jean-Luc Picard. And so that's kind of interesting. I think that gives her already, first of all, I think any single woman who raises a child, and at this point Wesley is a teenager, deserves a ton of accolades for just doing that alone. She's a career woman, obviously, and so more power to her. So I think that's really
definitely
really
career driven, because she had that stint at Starfleet Medical during season 2.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That yes.
And
by the way, that it's Gates McFadden's birthday yesterday.
I saw that. I was like, oh, happy birthday, Gates McFadden.
Can you believe how she's 71 years old?
They're all old. We are old. Hello.
I mean, we're not that old, but I was shocked. I just read that while you were introing her. I was curious what day, because I knew it was either yesterday or today that her birthday was, and then right next to it said age 71, and I was like, wow. So yeah, so there's that. Yeah, she goes away for season 2, comes back for season 3, and finishes out the series. Obviously, there were some behind the scene things which you did some more research in, which you can talk about later. But you know,
she
I
got
think,
fired. That's the gist of it.
which I don't remember at the time that I was watching it that I knew that happened, but I must have. It must have been publicized at some point. But I don't recall.
I don't know. I
it.
mean, I didn't really start to religiously watch TNG until season 3.
Season 3, right?
Her,
yeah, exactly.
You know, she was,
I can't remember.
Regular. So
Yeah, I can't remember that particular event happening. So, but you know, I think that we got to see her character grow. We got to see her. We got to see her get more and more screen time, at least
kind of.
I mean, you know, and we had to jump all the way to season 5 to find an episode that definitely highlighted her.
I mean, she had like Remember Me, which is when she was stuck in a static warp bubble and everyone's disappearing. But I chose not to select that episode.
You didn't check that one off. So yeah, I mean, I think that she's a great part of the crew. You know, there are some things in the movies which are interesting to watch and
you mean when her boobs got firm in Insurrection?
I guess.
There's that.
There's that. Yes.
Yeah, she's like, do your boobs feel firmer? I was like, oh my god. Like,
yes.
Come on.
So there's that. I was actually also thinking about the scene in First Contact where she and Lily are having it out, and said, you know, she's basically defending the captain and saying, well, he's not making any sense. Why aren't you guys standing up to him? And
wait, what are you talking about?
This is on the bridge when Lily's there, and he says, "No, we're going to self-destruct or whatever." His decision.
Well, they were trying to convince Jean-Luc to abandon ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was more Lily than Beverly. Beverly was there when he had his tiff with Worf, and she was like, Jean-Luc. Do you remember? I don't know.
I don't remember that one.
Had that much to do.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, she's, you know, so she's a great character. I think there's many layers to her, but you know, the way that the show was written, she didn't get very much airtime, and
she did not.
Yeah.
So I chose the episode Ethics in season 5, and I chose this episode. I don't know if there's like a specific reason why I chose this episode, other than the fact that it really stood out to me, because obviously this was a Beverly episode and it was a Worf episode. And I thought that this was just a good example of Beverly really standing her ground. And it was also a great episode that showcased conflict, because basically, for those of you that don't remember this episode, Ethics, Worf is in an accident. His spinal cord is basically, you know, he basically has his spinal cord broken because this container falls on him. He's paralyzed. Beverly can't do anything about it because Klingon anatomy is like a mystery. So she invites Dr. Toby Russell from Starfleet Medical to come, and she's like a specialist or something like that. And Dr. Toby Russell turns out to be, so there's like two plots. One is Worf wrestling with his disability and his Klingon honor and wanting Will Riker to help him perform ritual suicide. So there's that side of the ethics of, you know, assisted suicide and things like that. But on the other side of the coin in the conversation is Dr. Toby Russell is not an ethical scientist. She basically is willing to perform experimental surgeries on patients to advance her own research.
And she's actually not from Starfleet Medical. She's from an institute.
My bad.
She's not a member of Starfleet.
Oh, my bad. I was half paying attention to the episode when I rewatched it. But yeah, so a lot of it is about this conflict that happens because obviously Beverly oftentimes has this role where she is defending the rights and ethics of medical science. We also watch spoiler, we also watched Iborg for one of our characters, and
Yep.
she actually also has a big role in that, where she is the one to really fight for Hugh's rights as an individual. So she oftentimes plays this archetype where she is she's a stickler to the rules. She's a stickler for morality and for people's rights and for human rights or alien rights. And this was an interesting episode because I thought that it really exemplified her character well. And again, I really like it when there is conflict and you are exploring these different questions about, in this case, research and science, and also suicide, and all those things. Like I did, I noticed that, when we talked about this, I had a similar reaction as you, because it's been a while since I watched Ethics. It is very preachy. It's very preachy.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of, it's very didactic. It's literally didactic, where, there are a few scenes where Beverly's really like on a soapbox. It's not the most subtle episode.
It is definitely not subtle. No.
But at the same time, I do think that it gives Beverly something to do. I would say that is one of the highlights of this episode. It really allows her to kind of shine as a character, and showcase her values. It is definitely not like the best episode of The Next Generation, but yeah,
I would agree. I mean, it's a good episode. I would say that the A plot and the B plot, and I honestly don't know which is which in this case. I mean, I guess the A plot is Gates McFadden and Crusher, and
it's
the
very,
Doctor.
they're both very parallel.
Yeah, they are. So I would say that it's a real toss up as to who's got the stronger A plot here, because the conversation with Worf and Riker and Picard about this ritual suicide is it's powerful stuff as well. But we're here to talk about the women of Trek, and Beverly. I actually went back and watched it again. The end scene where she and the visiting doctor are talking. Actually, she's ignoring the doctor almost.
Yeah, no.
I mean, talk about a cold shoulder. Holy smokes. That was it was super awkward. And I don't remember it being that awkward when I watched it before, but it was definitely like she would not even look at her, acknowledge her presence, basically, called her out for, I don't know if you could. I can't stand, I couldn't stand up to the laurels you're going to get for this, given the cost. And so still very high and mighty till the end.
Oh, yeah.
Even though she's like, I'm happy that Worf is fixed and will get better. But, the way that you do your medical sciences is not my way, and my way is the right way, essentially. And
right.
So it is, it is harsh. And even in the shuttle bays, when they're treating the crew of the passengers of the Denver, and she does a different therapy than is recommended. I mean, that there was a lot of uncomfortable scenes with the two of them, just debating about this.
Butting heads a lot.
They were. And actually, I think that's what makes this kind of a standout episode. And I almost think Gene was still a part of the production of this.
Gene Roddenberry?
Yeah.
He was dead since like 91. That was like season 3.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I must have been.
He's in the ground rolling around.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of my episode. He was still part of yesterday's Enterprise, because it did say.
Yeah, he was still around.
Executive producer. Yeah. So
I mean, he died shortly before Undiscovered Country came out or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
In 91.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So it's this is almost like Rick Berman kind of taking the foot off the brake and letting some conflict happen here between the crew. And it was,
which
powerful.
I like. And, I mentioned this to you, even though this wasn't like the best episode or the most subtle, And even though I did enjoy it, I do think that it's hard for modern day Trek to have one of these episodes.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, right? Was that we, the characters we have now are actually fleshed out considerably more and a little bit more three-dimensional. And so you can't have this, black and white.
That's not what I was thinking. No, I was thinking more along the lines of, so this entire episode is themed around the idea of ethics, right? It's literally the title.
Yeah, around a
and
theme,
we don't have with modern day Trek, when you have 10 to 13 episodes, it's all serialized, you don't really have the opportunity to like dedicate an entire episode to exploring a very specific theme. And it has its ups and downs, don't get me wrong. Like there's the occasional Neelix episode that doesn't really hold a lot of water. But there's a lot of room for experimentation, which I feel that with modern day Trek, there's this less kind of room to kind of do that.
Maybe we'll see some of that with Strange New Worlds.
Maybe
with the more standalone episode type things that they're going to be doing. Although what I'm excited about for Strange New Worlds versus the Next Generation is that, these things are the development of the characters will be carried through episode to episode.
Worf was like up and running around by the next episode or something.
Yeah, exactly. So we didn't see a long-term development of Worf's struggle to get better. But anyway. So I thought this was a really outstanding showcase of who Beverly is.
Mm-hmm.
You got to see some of it in I, Borg, which is another episode that we'll talk about in a little while. But I think any final thoughts you want to share on Beverly as your choice and this episode in particular?
I mean, I'm glad she didn't get stuck in the Star Warp bubble.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can say about. Oh, you know what? I one thing I did want to talk about, which is not pertinent to this episode, but in general, because you brought up the whole thing with Jack Crusher, who definitely is hot. But the whole thing with Picard, the romance that went nowhere. I was shipping them for sure. Because there was that one episode, I remember the name of it, when they had a neural link and they could share each other's thoughts and stuff like that. And there was definitely some of that. I think that was season 6 or something, or maybe even season 7. But it just never went anywhere. And I was kind of disappointed by that because, as we know, classic Trek is really bad at handling interpersonal relationships among the crew and romances. And this was an opportunity that I just think it was a lost opportunity. And it could have given them another layer to work with, but they probably didn't want to overcomplicate things. So they were like, let's just keep it clean and simple and, have a little bit of tension, but let's not have it go anywhere,
Yeah.
Anything with Janeway and Chakotay, it was like, 1 or 2 episodes here and there. Janeway's always touching him, but then she's touching everyone. So, who even knows anymore? But there it is.
Fair enough. That is definitely something that you kind of miss out on. And there are, it's a lot of the Jack and Diane from Cheers kind of tease as far as a relationship developing between those two. So
yeah, it's too bad. It is what it is.
It is what it is. So, all right. Shall we move on?
Yeah. So who is your top pick?
You don't belong on that ship, Lieutenant.
No, Captain Garrett belongs on that ship, but she's dead. And I think there's a certain logic in this request.
There's no logic in this at all. Whether they succeed or not. Enterprise C will be destroyed.
But Captain, at least with someone at Tactical, they will have a chance to defend themselves well. It may be a matter of seconds or minutes, but those could be the minutes that change history. Guinan says I died a senseless death in the other timeline. I didn't like the sound of that, Captain. I've always known the risks that come with a Starfleet uniform. I'm to die in one, I'd like my death to count for something.
Well, so and this is a controversial pick when I told you, and
I was like, really?
And
Okay.
yeah, so I picked Natasha Yar, former chief of security of the Enterprise D. And you know, I picked an episode that is not what you would expect. I mean, it's kind of you know what it is, but our audience doesn't. I'm teeing it up here a little bit. One, I think that I don't know. Going back into my boyhood days when this came out in 1987, or when
Wait, I can talk about why you picked Tasha, or just gonna go to the episode.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing right now. Yeah.
Great.
You know, having a female security chief who is as uppity as Tasha was uppity. Exciting. Oh, she was, yeah. And that first,
like uppity as in pretentious.
No. Like it would get fired up very easily and
enthusiastic. Uppity is like you're pretentious. You're like upper class.
No.
That's uppity.
That is not uppity to me. It is not uppity. She was just easily inflamed. And for our viewers right now, Johnson
uppity, self-important or arrogant.
Okay, fine.
That is what Google says uppity means.
Great. Okay, fine. Well, enthusiastic.
That's Google pronouncing uppity.
She is my pick. Let me talk about her, okay? In my way. Thank you very much. Continue.
So you're trying to say she had enthusiasm?
No, I don't like. This is not an enthusiasm piece. She was very reactionary, and for a security chief, that seemed a little bit over the top at times.
I don't really understand what you're trying to say. Like she was.
Well, if you would let me say something here and not cut me off every freaking time I try to get a thought out.
I'm trying to understand the adjective.
Well, shut your mouth and listen to me talk about it.
I mean, I'm listening.
All right.
Elaborate.
So no, she would always react and like kind of like Shax in Lower Decks. Like, let's blow up their warp core. Like that's the sort of reaction that she would always get and give. She got frozen in Encounter at Farpoint because she got up and stood in front of her captain and in front of Q and was mouthing off to Q, an alien who she knew had extraordinary powers, but still was very uncontrolled. And that fire and that action was really interesting to me. And at some point, I also think
in a good way, or
in a different way. I mean, okay. It's I think that's one of the things that differentiated the Next Generation crew from the original series, right? Was sort of this, we had some different personalities, we had some different characters, we had some different aliens, we had just different energy, and it all kind of settled down eventually. But one of the things that and also, to be honest, like, I probably had a crush on her a little bit, but also, her death in Skin of Evil was one of the most traumatic things for me as a 14-year-old kid watching that. So, one, because you never had seen a main character be killed in Star Trek before. So there was that. It was kind of shocking, like Red Wedding shocking, and things that kind of stick with you well beyond ever watching the show. So I was really shocked by her death. I mean, granted, so there are two thoughts here. One, and I want to share this from Wikipedia, and I have met Keith R. A. DeCandio before.
Wait,
and
who?
He's an author. He's one of the Trek authors.
Oh.
But one of the commentaries that he said about when Natasha died, he said the loss of Yar is unfortunate. While it's true the character as portrayed didn't live up to the character as envisioned, Yar was the most interesting person in the TNG Bible. That's also true of a lot of characters. That's also true of a lot of characters, period. Denise Crosby has never been the best actor in the universe, but Michael Dorn, Jonathan Frakes, and Marina Sirtis weren't any great shakes in the first season either, and their characters didn't blow the doors off. they got better with time, and there's every reason to believe the same would have been true for Crosby had she remained. And I totally agree with that. Which is why I picked yesterday's Enterprise to talk about this week, because I think it shows a little bit calmer, more mature Tasha Yar, one who is much more thoughtful, much more, I don't know, she just seemed more settled into the role as security chief. And so that's why I chose that episode. So those are my kind of, before I get into the episode, any other thoughts now that you've heard my take on Tasha and why I chose her?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't have too many thoughts about Tasha Yar. I mean,
you didn't come fine. You came in the third season and she was gone.
Yeah. So I came in the third season. I mean, I went back obviously and watched all the season 1 episodes. She didn't really stand out to me as a very interesting character. But to your point, like, in season 1, a lot of them were kind of stiff, right? And a lot of them, I think there was a lot of establishing of the characters that was happening, and it was a rough season. Like we I don't think we necessarily hold TNG season 1 in high esteem. So yeah, I mean, like, I definitely think that there was potential with her that wasn't really realized. I'm glad we got Denise Crosby back as Sela, so at least that we saw a little bit more of the actress. But yeah, I mean, having gone back to season 1, the character didn't really have too much emotional resonance for me. She did have sex with Data,
right? Yeah, and the naked now. Yeah.
And that's Data's first and only sexual encounter until he meets the Borg Queen like 8 years later or something like that. So, dry period. But yeah, I guess, I really have very little to say about Tasha.
Yeah, I mean, for me, she was just, when this show came out, she was a standout for me, and just someone who, it was interesting and sad to lose her. And I agree, that had she stayed, I think she would have developed over time, just like the other characters did. And I also think the trade-off that we got, or that we wouldn't have gotten, is the development of Worf, who took over as security chief after she died. So, and obviously created this whole, they created multiple arcs for Worf throughout his tenure in Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. So, it's to Worf's benefit and Michael Dorn's benefit. But I did enjoy the character, and
we also get her back in All Good Things.
Right. Yeah, we do. We get to see some of our more interpersonal conversations with Picard as they're going to approach, leaving to go to the Enterprise D. So, I was sad to see Yar killed. And at least this time, I think that in yesterday's Enterprise, which I enjoy that episode.
Oh no, it was a great episode.
It's just
fantastic.
It's one of those alternative universe great episodes that you kind of want to go back and revisit what happened before that event, and kind of see, they could do a whole season on what that world would have been like before that, had the Enterprise C gone through there and stayed on that side of the wormhole. So, but yesterday's Enterprise actually showcases, not only Tasha, but also my other character, who's my supporting character, for later on, and they have some interactions. So it's going to be hard to kind of differentiate between the two. But we see a lot of great scenes between Tasha and Guinan, and
she also got a love interest, Richard Castillo, who was also kind of hot.
Yeah, she did. A very quick military.
Quick. Are we in love? Kind of, maybe interest.
Yeah. So war brings about quick relationships like that. But so we get to see her kind of make a mature decision about her fate, and it's interesting to watch. As they're kind of, as Picard kind of says, we're sending the Enterprise C back. Guinan has told me that that's what needs to happen in order to change this timeline. And then Crusher and Geordi are walking out. I wonder if any one of us is alive. That brings Tasha to mind when she interacts with Guinan, where she had interacted before and gotten this weird vibe and with Guinan, which was actually really awkward. Looking at that scene and seeing like there's something wrong here. These two have never met before, and yet Guinan knows her name.
It was awkward.
Guinan knows her name, and
she's like looking at her.
Yeah, kind of staring her down, like, what the hell are you doing here? But I think that it's really really cool that in this case Tasha gets to choose her fate. And she does it with as much information as Picard has, given, that he's sending the Enterprise C back just on Guinan's intuition. And so she's making a decision also based on Guinan's intuition, but also on the fact that she's a great tactical officer and will give the Enterprise C, the benefit of experience, of a warrior's experience, essentially. So, I mean, it was great to see her come back. It was great when, the scene switches and you turn. The scene begins with Worf saying something's coming through. Picard looks. The scene switches as the Enterprise C comes through, and he turns around and there's Tasha Yar, and like that was, and back then you didn't know. These were more of a surprise than what you would get nowadays on TV. So it was great to see her come back. And also I think where it kind of went off the rails a little bit is I do like Sela as a character. I mean, obviously there's even the possibility that she could come up in Picard, given
that'd be cool.
I
was hoping that she would appear in season 1, but she didn't.
Yeah. But also, where was I going with that?
Off the rails, you said.
Off the rails with the story that at least Sela tells Picard about her weak mother and running away from their father, which it sounds like, I don't know if there was a real, going from Castillo to some Romulan captor. That's, sounds very, what's the syndrome when you start,
it's something syndrome.
Yeah, there's some syndrome when you.
But it's also possible that she was kind of forced into it,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So,
but she still meets a tragic demise.
Supposedly, yeah. We never, we only hear it from Sela's point of view. But anyway, so yeah, I just think it's a character that I've always been fascinated with. The 4th book in the Next Gen paperback series was about Tasha's life on her planet growing up. We do get to meet her sister later on.
We do.
And learn a little bit more about her what happened with that. So I think it's, for me, it's just one of those characters that has always stuck with me. Troy's always been there. Crusher, except for one season's always been there. But to have this, life lived and died on TV in 1987, 88, and to watch, a character you really like be killed so quickly and like almost meaninglessly, it stuck with me. And Tasha Yar will always be one of my favorite leading women of Trek. So there we go.
Cool.
All right. Well, let's go to supporting
actresses.
Supporting actresses. Supporting women roles in Trek. And Johnson, who is your supporting?
Commander, you and I need to have a conversation.
You never ordered me not to discuss this with the captain.
You disagree with me, fine. You need to take it to the captain, fine. Through me. You do an end run around me again, I'll snap you back so hard you'll think you're a first-year cadet again.
May I speak frankly, sir?
By all means.
You're in my way.
Really? How terrible for you.
All you know how to do is play it safe. I suppose that's why someone like you sits in the shadow of a great man for as long as you have, passing up one command after another. Proceed to deck 8.
When it comes to this ship and this crew, you're damned right I play it safe.
If you can't make the big decisions, Commander, I suggest you make room for someone who can.
Yeah, so, I kind of thought about this one, and I have problems picking one, because the problem with the Next Generation is that there aren't too many recurring characters. Your secondary pick, I would say, is one of the very few, because unlike DS9, this was a time when obviously we didn't have that many good recurring secondary characters that we could work with. So I was like thinking about it. I was like, who should I pick? I was like, there's Guinan, who's your pick. Spoilers. I was like, there's Kaler, Vosh. I was like, who am I gonna pick? I did not pick Vosh. I don't even know. So I ended up picking Commander Shelby, who, by the way, I was like, what is her first name? She doesn't have a first name. I looked up a memory alpha. I was like, I don't remember why. I was like, why do I remember her first name? She doesn't have one. She's always just referred to as Commander Shelby. So there we are. So yeah, I picked Commander Shelby because if we're going with the theme of conflict, and again, this is one of the things I like most when we see people just disagree. Commander Shelby was brought on to the Best of Both Worlds to really be a foil for Riker. She was a great character, just in herself. But I was thinking about this, and I think that unfortunately a lot of these secondary characters serve a purpose versus they're there as a character. And Commander Shelby is a great example where whereas obviously for Best of Both Worlds, the experience is about Picard's experience and obviously the crew's experience, but the emotional center of both episodes, parts 1 and 2, is about Will Riker, and it's about kind of his journey. And Shelby is there more to serve Riker as a character versus really being a fully fleshed out character in herself. That being said, she's still a great character. I know we talked a little bit about how she is different in Best of Both Worlds Part 2 versus Part 1. I definitely noticed a change in her character, and I'm sure you have opinions about this. I definitely thought her character, I noticed a change in her character between Part 1 and Part 2. And I attributed that as, Riker, whereas in Part 1, he's first officer, she's vying for this position, she's trying to impress Picard, she's a hothead. And then Episode 2, there's a change in roles because Riker becomes acting captain. She can't just do what she was doing with Riker in Episode 1. And she had to scale back on how aggressive she was being. I know you have different thoughts about that. Did you? Kind of?
Maybe? Not really. I mean, she does scale back, mainly because, I think I agree with you that she scaled back because she's essentially the first officer of the Enterprise, which is what she wanted to begin with. She wanted to work with Picard, though, and not Riker.
Right.
So, I think, she calms down a little bit. She's less of a foil and more of fulfilling the role that she wanted.
She definitely had much more of a presence in Part 1. I think that's why Part 1 is held on such a pedestal versus Part 2, where I think most people thought part 2 was fine. Most people think that part 2 like wrapped it up, but I would say probably the majority of Trek fans probably think that part 2 didn't quite live up to part 1. But that's hard because part 1 is all about kind of raising the stakes. You had Commander Shelby, this really strong female character, butt heads with Will Riker, who's an established character, and we haven't gotten that kind of friction between Will and another character in a long time. I don't remember like who else, to be honest, off the top of my head, at least pre-season 3, like, pre-season 3 finale. You had the Borg, right? You had obviously a big threat. You had Will not really being sure of what he wanted to do with his future. Did he want to stay on the Enterprise? Does he want to leave? All in the midst of, this Borg invasion happening. And then you had Captain Picard getting captured. And then you had and then by the end, Will is forced to make a life or death decision about, potentially killing Picard. So it was this constant escalation, and Shelby played a huge role in that escalation, which is why I think her character was received so well in part 1. Part 2 was all about de-escalation. It was all about like resolution, because again, TNG, by the time this episode's over, we need to go back to status quo for the most part. I mean, there's a little bit of resolution that happens in family, but for the most part, it's like everything's back to normal, so I think there is a de-escalation that happens with the characters and the friction, and Shelby she's had served her purpose in episode 1. And because by the end of part 2, we know that she needs to go. So, I think that she is very memorable, even though I think in my mind, she performed more of a service than she was a really fleshed out character. But yeah, those are my thoughts about Commander Shelby. Commander blank first name, last name Shelby.
Well, so she does get her first name in the books, and she's a big part of the New Frontier series of books. So her first name is Elizabeth, but
is that canon though? That's a thing.
I don't know. Yeah. So she's definitely an interesting character, and probably one of the more she brings a lot of conflict to the table. There we go.
Instigating.
Yes,
she's an instigator.
She is an instigator. So yeah, I don't really have a ton of other thoughts than what you shared, but she does her job, and
she performs a service.
She performs a service. Yeah. So there we go. Well, cool. How about we move on to my final pick for leading supporting actress, which is Guinan, played by the wonderful Whoopi Goldberg.
I need to hear you say that you are sure you're doing the right thing.
If you're here to persuade me not to use the invasive program.
No, I think I need you to persuade me.
2 days ago, you were so upset about the Borg even being on the ship that you tore my foil out of my hand. And now you're here questioning whether it should be treated as the enemy.
No, but when you talk to him face to face, can you honestly say you don't have any doubt?
I haven't talked to it.
Why not?
I saw no need.
If you're going to use this person...
It's not a person, damn it, it's a Borg!
If you are going to use this person to destroy his race, you should at least look him in the eye once before you do it. Because I am not sure he is still a Borg.
Because it's been given a name by a member of my crew doesn't mean it's not a Borg. Because it's young doesn't mean that it's innocent. It is what it is. And in spite of efforts to turn it into some kind of pet, I will not alter my plans.
Fine. But if you don't talk to him at least once, you may find that decision a lot harder to live with than you realize.
Yeah.
And the episode...
Great secondary character pick.
Yeah. It's funny. I was thinking about this as you were talking. Like, your supporting character and my primary character were kind of like short-lived people in this universe, whereas your primary character and my secondary character actually had a bigger arc, bigger arcs. And Guinan is definitely one of them. And I chose, I chose Iborg because this shows a couple of things. It shows her relationship with Picard, but it shows her facing, for the first time, her nemesis, a physical form in front of her of the people, the beings responsible for the dispersal and death of her people. So I think that's why I chose this. And if we jump right into the episode, first of all, Guinan is great because she's in yesterday's Enterprise. She comes on board, I think, in season 2, right? Yep. She is picking up steam in season 3, so she's a big part of yesterday's Enterprise, both also with Picard and with Tasha. So huge involvement.
Best of both
there.
worlds.
Best of both worlds. Yep. She, the scene where she has the captain's ear, the new captain's ear, and says, "I'm used to it." And she's sitting in Picard's chair as Riker comes in.
Yeah.
And basically coaches him into realizing that he needs to throw away the playbook and create his own. Which is actually probably the advice that kind of tips everything towards the resolution, right? Rather than playing the game that, playing it like Picard would play it, he has to play it like Riker and Riker would. So that's all through prompting of Guinan. And so, she in ethics? She was not in ethics, right?
No.
She wasn't in ethics, but a few episodes later. So we're all the way in season 5, and here she is in Iborg, playing some really pivotal scenes with Picard, and this is before Time's Arrow, so we don't really get to see the season 5 finale introduces us to Guinan in the past, which is Guinan's first meeting of Picard, but not Picard's first meeting of Guinan. So it's interesting.
With Samuel Clemens.
But Iborg is really an outstanding episode, and obviously it plays right into Star Trek Picard, which is great.
Yeah.
Jonathan Del Arco,
I still think he got shafted in Picard.
Yeah, I do too. It's sad that he's no longer with us in Hugh form anyway. Maybe they'll give him...
just like, I know that's going back to episode 1 of our podcast. It's just like, I wish I knew what happened between Descent Part 2 and Picard Season 1. Yeah. I want to know everything that happened to him, and I just wish we got that.
Yeah. And well, just as a quick side note, I still want to throw this theory out. I still feel like maybe Lore is out there and has something to do with the whole Romulan thing. So,
sure.
Maybe. Who knows? But anyway, getting back to Guinan, she plays a pivotal role in Iborg by first, making Picard wary of the Borg's presence on here, so much so that she tricks him, fakes an injury during their fencing match, just to show Picard that, oh, I'm helpless, but yet I'm still going to stab you.
Right.
And so she makes her point. She's, what I really love about this character,
she's very illustrative.
She is very illustrative, but she also does not back down from Picard ever. She is so opinionated. When she comes to his quarters and she says, this person, and Picard stands up and yells at her, "It is not a person, it is a Borg." She continues like he didn't even do. Yeah. She doesn't flinch. She just says, "This person," and almost in his face, it's just an amazing dynamic between the two of them. And I'm so excited that she agreed to be on season 2 of Star Trek Picard. So I can't wait.
I hope they give her something to do.
I hope so too. I hope it'll be a worthwhile reunion to have her on that show in season 2. And just that, and also she and Geordi are friends, so maybe there's going to be a Geordi Guinan Picard reunion in season 2. Who knows?
Maybe.
So we'll hopefully see that. But her conversation, her conversation with Geordi in 10 Forward is also one of those ones where she's being so stubborn and like Geordi has
for good reason.
Absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely.
People destroyed her home.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. No, I'm not being unsympathetic to her, but it's funny because it takes Geordi being so like kind of annoyed with her and says, well, maybe you should just listen because that's your job, isn't it? And she doesn't even flinch to that. So I'm really wondering if anyone can make Guinan flinch besides maybe what's his name from Generations, but Soren, yeah. But just also I love that she's the more intuitive one, but like you said, illustrative is just the way that she deals with everything. So, and now I'm thinking about her and Riker in the ready room during Best of Both Worlds too. So, I mean, we've had 3 of our 4 episodes involved her.
Yeah, well, she was around.
Yeah. So, Iborg, just that scene, even with, you're not so big, you're not so scary, as she faces him down in the security in the brig. It's just, it's also incredible to see the growth. Like she does learn and she does change her take, and and she has no right to, she doesn't have to. She can still be mad at the Borg, and yet she convinces Picard to really meet this person and make sure that he's making the right decisions. So she's still advising him despite her anger and despite her confusion about, well, is Hugh still really a Borg? So just a lot of great, 4 great scenes in that episode. And, I'm just a huge fan of Whoopi Goldberg as well, but so, she's definitely someone who speaks up for LGBTQ rights, and
she also has opinions.
Yes, she is very opinionated. She has maybe
I've actually never watched her on like The View or something.
I have.
Have you? Does she have opinions?
She has opinions.
She has thoughts. She has notes.
She has notes times 10.
Many notes.
Yes, she does not back down. It's actually, when she gets fired up, it's quite good.
No, she's great. I mean, Guinan's always interesting. I mean, she obviously has this like very air of mystery. She's like what, 800 years old or something like that. Like she's gone through a lot. We don't know a lot of that information.
We don't know a lot about her race.
She has this relationship with Q. Like Q is a little bit like
afraid of her.
Like something like he's like something about her even bothers him.
Yep.
But we never really get into what that is. Like there's like a lot of like, they set up a lot, but there's a lot of unanswered questions about her.
There is. And it's okay because, she does what she's meant to do, which is to spark a change, bring, she's the advisor to the captain when, Deanna is maybe like the soft feelings person, and Guinan is more like, no, you're being an idiot here. Like, think about this, or, she's got opinions and she's sticking to them all the time.
And she
doesn't care. She does not care. Yes, she has big hats. She does not care what people think of her opinions.
She has this one, like, I remember it was like an orange outfit. It was a lot of look. I liked it actually. It was like all orange. It was like amber orange, like burnt orange. It was great.
I mean, we saw, I don't think we saw it in these 3 episodes that we watched, but we saw quite a few different outfits for Guinan in these 3 episodes. So quite colorful.
Yeah, it's color.
But yeah, so that's my leading or supporting actor pick for Women in Track Month, Guinan. And here's hoping we see her a lot in Picard season 2.
I have, as I was talking about Shelby and I was kind of going through the list of like supporting female characters, so I have this is very impromptu,
Oh,
but
boy.
I have like a last minute nominee. But do you remember Nella Darren?
No,
From
and the name.
Lessons?
No, the name does not even ring a bell.
Okay. Do you remember the episode Lessons? She's like a stellar cartographer or something. Like she's in stellar cartography, and she's Picard's love interest.
Oh, yes. I didn't remember her name. Of course I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I really liked her as a character. Like, you know, obviously it's been a while since we've either seen the episode, but I really liked that particular episode because it gave Picard a love interest, which is rare.
It wasn't part of the command crew, essentially.
He doesn't get that many love interests. You know,
Bash.
Famke Jensen. What's her name? Kamala, the Cameloid or whatever. Not Cameloid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm getting all my aliens confused.
You are.
Do you remember Famke? Jean Grey?
Of course I know who you're talking about. I can't think of what character she played in Star Trek.
She was like she was like a empath, like sex slave.
Basically. Okay.
No,
I don't remember that. No, doesn't ring a bell.
She imprints on like men.
But let's go back to your impromptu nominee.
Yeah, no, I really liked Commander Darren because she was a great foil to Picard, but she felt much more fleshed out. Like she had her own passions. She was very, you know, she was passionate about music. You know,
mature. She was layered. She was mature.
Yeah, I felt that she was more fleshed out as a character than Commander Shelby because it seemed like she had her own like life. You know, we always get these 10 forward concerts, like, you know, talent shows and things like that. And she like performed on piano, and Picard connected with her through his love of music, and it went back to his experience on The Inner Light because he plays like the flute solo, and she's like, that's beautiful, and then she accompanies him, and they have like all these great scenes. And unfortunately it didn't go anywhere because obviously she can only stay for one episode, but it obviously opened up all these things about, can Picard have a relationship with a crew member? You know, like it was awkward sometimes, and then they had to like she had to basically like, you know, get off the ship because they were like, this can't work. But I really liked her too.
That's a good pick again.
And she was very like she had this air, like I think what you're saying, like this air of maturity, very confident as a character, which I really liked. So
yeah, it's interesting because your pick is more of a guest star choice than for both of these. They're both guest stars.
Yeah, well, that's a
problem. Versus a supporting character, but we didn't have a ton of next generation women supporting characters. So
many. I mean, who's even ongoing, like Q? Who else? Like ongoing.
Yeah, I mean,
Sela, I guess.
No, I mean that's another guest starring role.
Martok?
Yeah,
here and there.
Martok a little
Not
bit.
Not Martok. Yeah. Gowron. I'm sorry. I'm complaining my Klingons. Gowron.
But when you were talking about Picard's love interest, that reminded me of Insurrection and Aunt Anij.
Oh God, I don't remember how to say her name.
Yeah. I had to look it up while you were talking. She actually comes up in the book that I just finished last week, The Dark Veil, which is primarily a Riker Troy Picard novel. But
how did she come up?
Because Riker does reach out to Picard for some advice during the book, and they catch up about family and stuff. And Picard mentions that he got a letter from Anij, and was invited to go join them. She had heard what had happened when he left Starfleet, and so there was there was that little tidbit in the book. It was kind of interesting to hear. Yeah, so there we go. Before we wrap up, I think we should give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Fansets.
Yeah, it's Fansets.
That's sort of your line in every.
I know.
But Fansets is great, and because of who we talked about this week, I wanted to give a shout out to they of the 4 characters, 5 if you include your impromptu one. So far, Fansets only has pins for Crusher and Yar. They do.
Wait, you don't have one for Guinan?
No, I know. I was surprised.
How is that possible?
I mean, I searched. I typed in Guinan, and I didn't.
That's crazy.
Didn't find anything, but
maybe they need like approval from Whoopi Goldberg or something.
Maybe, yeah. So, but they do have a micro crew pin for Tasha Yar, a micro crew pin for Beverly Crusher, but they also have a the Women of Trek Series 1 Beverly Crusher. So she got Series 1 honors from them.
Does she have her like coat?
She does not have her coat in this one.
Pregnancy coat.
No, she does not have her pregnancy coat.
Oh, okay.
In this one, but it is a nice pin, and if you have any of the others, like I have the Uhura and Jadzia Dax ones, this would be another great one to get from season 1. So, and there are also a ton more pins. I'm trying to remember the things that are coming out March 1st from Fansets, and I can't, but there are always new pins. They come out the 1st and the 15th of every month. And so you should check them out. And if you use the code DS Pride,
all caps,
you will get 10% off your order.
Don't try lower because it might not work.
It might not work. Well, if it doesn't work, try all caps. And if it doesn't, there we go.
If the all caps doesn't work, that's a bigger problem.
No, it does. I'm fairly certain. I have used it.
You've used it. Oh, right. You mentioned you used it last time.
Yes.
Yeah, but if it doesn't, listeners, if it doesn't work for you, that's a bigger issue.
By the way, where is Boimler positioned in your house?
He's like in the coffee table.
Why is he in the coffee table? Why isn't he up next to? I noticed while we were recording that I could not see him up next to the Picard Delta on this.
Because there's no room.
I am coming over and redecorating.
There's no room. I don't know what to tell you.
There's plenty of room on that shelf next to that Picard Delta. He's very small and would not take up a lot of room.
He is tiny, but
so there you go.
There's no room at the inn.
I expect to see it up there the next time we record.
All right, whatever.
Anyway, so thanks to Fansets for supporting our podcast and all the podcasts of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network.
Yes, buy pins.
And so to wrap it up,
buy all the pins.
There we go. Are you good?
I'm done.
You know what next episode is, right?
What? Oh, our 25th. I was like 25th anniversary. Our 25th episode.
It is our 25th episode. We've done 25 episodes, or we will have done 25 episodes.
Yeah, that's a good milestone.
That is a pretty.
How many more before we die,
or before we kill each other?
Yeah,
I think that's more likely. Before how many we die.
How many episodes do Bill and Dan have in the can? It's like 150?
I mean, they've been doing. No, they're further up than that. They're in like the 200s. Yeah,
that's a lot of episodes.
That is a lot of episodes. They've been doing this for 6 years, and we've been doing this for about a year, but we've only been live on the network for 24 episodes.
Yeah, we have like a 10 like lost episodes.
Yeah, well, I mean, we practiced, and we have some old episodes that maybe we'll go through someday and see if they're worthy of sharing, but. For now, so I don't know what we're going to do next week for our 25th episode. We had planned to continue Women of Trek. DS9
you want to do something different than what we discussed?
I mean, maybe we should do something special for the 25th episode.
Like what?
I don't know. Maybe we'll have to talk about that offline and surprise our viewers next week with something
I have nothing
exciting. So
I have no thoughts. I have nothing to offer you.
Well, we'll see next week. We'll see what we have next week. Okay. We'll leave it there. If not, you're gonna get a great episode about DS9 Women of Trek. But 25 is a big deal. So
25 is a big deal. I just don't know what we're gonna do.
Well, maybe some miracles will happen.
Why? Do you have something in mind?
I do have something in mind. but
You
I'm
do?
not
All
gonna-
right,
I
we can
do.
take this offline.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we'll see if I don't know that we can make it happen, but we'll see what happens.
Did you secure Wilson Cruz? Is he coming?
As you clutch your pearls.
I don't know.
I did not secure Wilson Cruz. No,
Okay,
no.
then it can only be a disappointment then.
Oh well, that is true. I mean, but we'll see. But we hope you'll be back here next week. And thanks for listening, everybody. Listening us to drone on about the women of Trek and our picks. So, finally, what do they do if they want to share who?
Oh yeah,
they're leading.
About that.
Yeah, we almost did.
All right. Well, if you guys want to reach out, you can email us at deepspacepride@gmail.com. Let us know if our Fansets promo code is not working, and we'll try to address that as soon as possible. And you can also reach us on Twitter and Instagram at Deep Space Pride.
All right.
Well, that's it. That's all I got.
That's episode 24, everybody. And we'll see you again next week. Have a great week.
Bye.
Deep Space Pride is a production of Coconut Media Works. Executive producers Bill Smith and Dan Davidson. For more great Star Trek discussion, discover the other shows of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network at trekgeeks.com or find us in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.